How I got my first developer job at age 40 after 10 months of hard work. I made a career change to front-end development at the age of 40, starting with no relevant experience and no degree. I started out through self-directed study while working full-time and spending next to nothing. At the most recent moment, I was sitting at a cafe in Madrid, still marveling at how quickly I had moved from teaching English to becoming a front-end developer. 10 months ago I was living in Granada and knew nothing about programming. Even though it rained on me the whole day, all of that has been a blur. Will anyone notice? How did this happen? I had an incredible experience working with the Kasasa team, and I'm excited to share with you my journey of how I got to be here. Feeling special. When I first became a developer, experts warned me about becoming overwhelmed with the amount of work that comes with it. I was wary of following those instructions blindly, so I spent time researching entry-level jobs and thinking about building my resume. Instead worrying too much about credentialism and what makes someone special, how helpful they'll be, or anything else along these lines. Coming to terms with the difficulty of becoming a software developer can be difficult. The good news is that it doesn't take a genius to get started. It takes time, patience, practice, and dedication to understand how software development works. All that's necessary is the will to learn new skills and keep picking yourself back up when you feel the need. Everyone's life is different, and they have different priorities, needs, and available resources. However, it's never too late to learn. No matter your circumstances or situation, there is hope. This author provides background information on the topic, which helps readers understand the situation. When I wrote my first line of code, it had been a while since I'd done anything related to programming. After years of experience in the restaurant business and getting a degree in music technology and ESL work, I still wasn't technically adept and my abilities certainly weren't matched with any computer skills. Writing code felt both challenging and exciting, like superheroes to me. If you thought development was a difficult process and that it would require years of experience, coding isn't all that it's cracked up to be. While developers like these exist, the majority are far more accessible. In fact, developing is easier than I had imagined. Origin story. It all started with a conversation I had with my partner, who was questioning the low number of female STEM graduates and tech professionals. The idea quickly evolved into her start learning about programming herself. Her goal was to be the model for younger girls in our family, and ensure they continued on their technological adventures. And she did just that. Soon, I was just as excited. I realized that there are plenty of resources available. This wasn't some dark art, but a skill we could master and enjoy learning. When you read this sentence, you can infer that she managed a career change from HR and became a developer about a month before I did. One day we found a children's book about programming at a science museum, and we had to figure out how it was done. Well, we did our best to figure out what witchcraft was going on and opened Notepad, wrote, then opened the page in the browser and changed the color, red. We were screaming with excitement. I wanted to make digital products that computers could help me do what I was unable to do. The dream of every developer came true for me when I discovered WordPress. I previously worked. At that point, I had been teaching for 8 years. This is not going to be the typical story where one talks about a job they didn't enjoy. Because I loved working with my students, enjoyed teaching at my job, and was content in my workplace. It was rewarding and enjoyable. However, sometimes it's not just time to move on. Sometimes what you need is a new challenge. A new way that will push you out of your comfort zone and offer you something new to learn and experience. Success is an individual journey. 3 people working in the coding field started around the same time: my partner, myself, and a good friend. Each one followed the material and methods that worked best for them. If there's anything that all 3 of us have in common, it's not giving up. We all worked hard and put a lot of effort into our careers. When you're starting a side business, you need to find a way to make it fit into your regular life. My way is not the only way, or even the best one. It worked for me, so I wanted to share what I've learned with other people who are interested in starting similar businesses of their own. Getting started. First, I started with reading and watching YouTube videos about programming. From there, I moved on to playing around with HTML and CSS by following tutorials. After that, it was clear, coding is something I really wanted to get into. Creating a purpose for your paper. Creating a purpose for your paper. As a new business owner, reaching out to your friends working in the field can be crucial. Any advice or encouragement you receive early on can help you get started and focus your mind on clear goals. I needed a swift career change, that's why it took some time to sort through the options and set realistic goals. I had no other income, which meant gradually working towards my job until I could cut ties with my old company. I chose to focus on the skills needed for a job in a startup, as opposed to freelance work. I narrowed down my search by focusing on what's difficult but demandable rather than what's easy but not as hard. This was supposed to be my last school year teaching. To ensure I completed my goal, a deadline was set for September 2018. So I promised myself I would be working in the field within a year to complete my goal. Constantly questioning your decisions can lead to a lot of doubts and uncertainty. At this stage I was questioning whether or not this move was such a good idea. What kept me going was the persistence in following through with the decision and seeing where it led me. Once I made the decision, I wasn't going to let anything dissuade me from getting there no matter what. Learning. Many people know about the technical skills needed for a career in tech, but few make the effort to study, says Molly. You can't know what you don't know with coding, and planning out your study time helps you achieve success. For Molly and her partner, working together was key. They completed their study plan while working full-time jobs that would be difficult to do if they were trying to attend school full-time. 8 a.m., wake up, that's breakfast for me. 8:30 a.m., start coding. 12:30 p.m. I go to the gym and then a break. 3 p.m./4 p.m. I continue coding. 8 o'clock 11 p.m., finish the day. Then my summer holiday came, and I made the most of it by turning the weekend boot camp into the daily boot camp. I stuck to that schedule assiduously despite the temptation to kick back a bit. I knew that would mean less income, but had also committed myself to pursuing the same career change in order to have time and energy to study. I had made a decision to reduce my hours at work. This was another step to make the commitment more serious. All I wanted to do was fix some problems or finish the layout, but then life got in the way. The thing about the start of a school year is that it's a pretty busy time, so there are always a lot of things to prepare for and organize. As any teacher will tell you, it also takes up personal time. I tried to keep up the pace of my coding, but I was losing momentum. I became afraid of ignoring my health and family life as a result. Even with the best intentions and good motivation, life can get complicated. I had a few dips in how much time I could dedicate to my study, but I kept at it. Even if I was only actively studying for an hour, even if I wasn't really up on the latest new concepts, even if it was just reading blog articles. I did everything that I could not to get to the stage of losing all motivation. When you give up too often, and stay away from it for way too long, it's difficult to get back into things easily. Then as December approached, seeing the new year looming and my deadline closer, I pushed through with all my might despite how tired I was and how little time I had. Sometimes I'd get up early to code, sometimes it would be too late by then. That's what my life was like on the job that paid the bills. I had to maintain my old rhythm until it was time to move to Madrid. On the final day before I left New York, I packed up everything I needed and waited for the moving truck. We have a wide range of tools and resources. On my journey to becoming a software engineer, I immersed myself in working with developers and resources for learning new skills. Hiring people. I was surprised because actually this part of the application process was not terribly difficult for me. I didn't send masses of CVs or spend hours looking for jobs. Instead, I opted for being selective and focused. In the end, I applied for 10 interviews. One was completely rejected and one of the other 9 offers was not attractive at all. Of the 3 who offered jobs, I completed 2, got 2 offers accepted, one of which is what I'm currently doing. I appreciate how tenacious you are and hope that I can pat you on the back for your efforts. I think it's really brave how many unemployed months you had to go through to get where you wanted to be. That said, I know perseverance is everything for making things happen and I wish you success in your future endeavors. Because of the people who give me this opportunity and allow me to be a contributing member of society, I will always be eternally grateful. The interview process with the two companies was very different. One was a series of video calls to talk to various people at the company. It was a small but well-established company hoping to build a new team of front-end developers. After some back and forth, they made me my first real offer. After a phone interview, I was sent a technical challenge that involved building a component, making API calls and showing the correct information. Then came a video chat about my code. After which we met for a drink so to see if we click as individuals and with our teams. From there, I was offered to join as a junior front-end. Finally, I made a choice. It was a hard battle and a very tough decision to make, but I knew what had to be done. I took the offer with Startup because of the mentorship. They seemed to have clear on the importance of mentorship and giving me guidance to grow and learn, so that definitely was the key. And it was the best decision I've made in a long time. On that rainy day in Madrid, I was just finishing some coffee and decided to walk into the office in the business area. I introduced myself as the new front-end developer to start my new career there. I hope you enjoyed my story. I've created an article about how I found this job,